Finally got the liquid gold that we needed. Out here this morning, actually, doing the chores, and came down to take a minute on the home plot here that we've been working on. I kind of give you guys just an update on how things can look once you get the liquid encouragement that you need to bring this to the full potential. So I've got a topic here that I've been chatting with a couple of folks over the last couple of weeks, and I think it kind of fits into this morning's coffee talk, if you will, over a food plot. And the topic is pertaining to just this situation right here, right behind me. I've had some comments and some direct messages relating to what I teach and preach and what I try to educate folks on, and how strongly I feel about not hunting on food plots. And then you guys obviously that follow along, and especially the house farm here, we've been doing a lot of new things and creating and kind of using this as a little bit of a test ground as well too. But one of the things is I've had a question, why is that rifle blind or that box blind on the food plot if you push so hard to to try to educate everybody to not hunt on these food plots? And the reason is, guys, and I've explained that to those folks too, and I appreciate that stuff. I don't look at any of that stuff as a negative blow or anything like that. I take that as it shows that you guys are quizzing. Maybe you guys are quizzing and you're really looking for the right answer here. So the reason that is there, I'm going to answer that question. The reason that's there is this has always been, as I stated in the past, it's a long, narrow. It's 330 wide by 1260 deep. So this is actually, it's always been a bypass farm. Now, in recent years, I had kind of food plot setups, if you will, every now and then out in our pasture areas, which I'm going to turn around here and show you. This is our shop, and all this pasture ground out here I had planted at one time. So property to the east, property to the west, ag to the east, food plots, managed timber to the west, and it's always been just a bypass farm. Well, like I said, I've had some of that stuff out there in the past, but there again, we did a bunch of updating and kind of reconstructing the farm a few years ago, adding some few things, and I lost my area to plant my food plots. And the reason is that got turned over into our designated horse pastures, and it's better serves that purpose to begin with. So now there's not horses in the pasture, and I'm not boarding any horses or don't have any of our own, and I could switch that over. The reason I haven't is because if we're selling the property here, I don't want to have a food plot in an area where somebody could be using that. So best fit is to come down here. This was an area where years ago, when the trees and everything else were excavated that were going up to the house, this just happened to ended up being a landing. It was somewhere where all the stumps and everything was piled for years, and debris and anything out of the yards and around the shop and around the property all ended up at this. But as you can see, house on the hill, big bank down to it. And as we said, I went right over around the edge, and I had room up in there. That is where the bedding area, my doe bedding area was created. It's the closest timber to my to my plot here. But now this is it's a very functional food plot. So we hunted it as a bypass between farm to farm and bypassing deer, and that's how we've always hunted it. So that location was implemented a couple of years ago to give us a view over what we had to hunt. Now looking back at it, I kind of kicked myself in the butt. I should have did this years ago in this location, but we had other farms to hunt, and I just didn't need that at that point. Now, using it as a kind of a test tool, now we've created this, and now that box blind is on it. So what we're going to do is, I had some of these questions, you know, are we going to leave that box blind on there? And the answer is no. It's coming off. It will be moved. Actually, this is going to be moved, that one there, because it's more of a you know, you could crossbow hunt out of it. It's a box blind. You know, it's not built to you know, bow hunt out of. So what I'm doing is I'm actually taking that, and we're going to put this right behind my. I've got another horse barn down here at the bottom, but it's divided by. There's a pond between the end of the barn and the base of the hill. There's quite a pond there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that box blind. We're going to move it over there, and for an evening hunts where you can walk right in, you can actually open the door of the barn and park the ATV or the four-wheeler right inside the barn and walk right out the back side of the barn and hunt the transition coming out of that bedding area out to the food plot, and then obviously be able to get off from it and away from it in the evening undetected. So just wanted to kind of go over that. Is yes, this is what it looks like when you tune in and you flip the channel on and you see those sitting here. So is going to be, that's how strongly I feel about it. I wouldn't be doing this taking my own you know, stands and everything off food plots, and the more that the business grows and the more that I see and learn and educate with my clients, and I don't even go down the road of even designing shop plots anymore. If it's an area where these kind of staging areas or pre-food plot or pre-destination locations can be implemented, I'm doing a lot more of those areas into little browse plots than I am. And the reason is, guys, is it's so easy to take and this is 1/3 of an acre. So I mean, I'd stretch it out along the linear as I could, but this is 1/3 of an acre, and got it planted rye and buckwheat now late because we got it cleaned late, and then we're just going to use what we got when we do our August plantings. But the reason I don't do those shop plots, if you will, is because shop plots on small parcels end up being destination food plots or destination feed locations. And the reason is folks want to put, and no fault of their own, they want to put as much value into those spots as they possibly can, and to draw and to try to hold those does closer maybe than they're giving up now. Problem with that is it becomes a destination food feed location in your area, especially even if you're on a 10 or a 20 or a 40. If you're the only one in your area, which there's a lot of places in the nation, especially here in Michigan, that are still like that. And what happens is it becomes too much of a magnet, too much of a holding point, and then it becomes an issue where the box blinds and the tree stands and everything else that are on the food plots end up being on a food plot, not a shop plot. So designing away from them, I don't. There's a need for them. There's a lot of needs, but I don't see those, and I don't go down that road with clients anymore, unless it's on a larger parcel and you have other options for destination food plots, destination feed locations. You can't have a shop plot size food plot and want to use it as a shop plot and not have other destination feed locations. And I'm not talking about your neighbor having the cornfield or the bean field. That's the final destination. I'm talking food plots on your small parcels that end up being these destination being the destination feed location. And the reason that I do that, guys, is just simply that they end up being hunted, and they ended up not moving not moving off those plots, and then we're right back to where we started with having hunting right on these plots. It's a big step. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have this conversation every week I have this conversation multiple times a week, and you know, some believe in it, some don't. But one thing I'm here to do is to teach the best way that I know possible to make these small parcels especially explode, and to get your, you know, highest, you know, return on investment, as I you know, state. So that right there is not going to get you that to that end goal of making these small parcels perform. And it's just as simple as you don't have the margin for error that you can get away with on other parts of the country, lower pressured parts of the country, and also in low pressured states outside of the spectrum of, you know, Michigan, Wisconsin, parts of Wisconsin, Michigan, New York. We don't have that option. So I really encourage everyone to watch this process grow as I'm bringing it to you, and that's the reason that I'm bringing it to you here. And the here shortly, we've got some interest on the house here, and hopefully we have a closing date here within not too long, and we're off to the next property. I haven't accepted an offer on it yet, but there is some talk coming here. So powerful situation. But the reason that that's here is because it was here before it was hunted, and we just haven't taken that next step to get that off. But it will be leaving, and I'm not going to go down the road of degrading anybody and getting, you know, real forceful, because I understand that it's a method of hunting that folks have used now during the explosion of the food plot world. And I get it. You know, it's you know, you flip on the TV and all the outdoor channels, celebrities, and I used to work for the outdoor channel, so I know some of those guys, a lot of those guys, you know, real close, and stay in contact with them. But their entity of the way where they're at, how they hunt, what they're able to hunt, is a total separate platform of probably 90% of the people that are watching this right now. We don't have the option of many different acres to hunt. We don't have the option of multiple different farms to hunt. We don't have the option of hunting this food plot once and not hunting it for another week. You know, we don't have the option of being able to blow the deer off from here out of the you know, the resident doe groups off these food plots every evening, and, you know, once or twice a week, or in some states every evening. And here in the high pressure state, guys, that just doesn't cut it. You just don't have that. And if you aren't a believer, you know, I urge you to continue to follow along with me here, because I'll make you a believer out of it. It's the guys that you know, some people in the industry that everybody's got great intentions, and I don't want to go down the road of saying there's anybody out there, you know, telling people, just giving people bad information just to send you down the wrong road. I think everybody has good intentions. Problem is like we've talked before, unless you have been outside of the spectrum of your home core area, you don't have the experience to really relate, good or bad, you know. And I'm just blessed enough to be able to bring this to you guys, because I have been able to, you know, to get outside of my home core area of, you know, central Michigan, and lived all over the country in some of the highest powered whitetail, you know, counties and areas in the country. So I know what works there, and I know what doesn't here, and vice versa. I know, you know, contour, food plots. It's just a combination of knowing how to get you guys. Like I said, 90% of you that are watching probably aren't living in the Midwest and have the opportunity to have multiple farms. And, you know, my average client is on 80 acres and less in high pressured states. That's the majority of my clientele, and that's probably the majority of the people that tune into this channel. So that's the reason that I'm putting so much emphasis on these, and trying to, you know, teach guys in followers here how to think outside the box and how to make that step. Once you make that step, and I'll bet my business and I'll bet my my reputation on this. Once you take that leap of not doing this, of getting off and leaving these food plots, making these food plots your sanctuaries, putting as much emphasis on your sanctuary outlook that you have in your bedding areas, and using that same outlook as you have on your food plots, other than having to plant them, not pressuring them in the fall, not hunting them, using, you know, treating them as you would with those same thought process, that same mentality as you do your sanctuary bedding areas, your success, your farms will explode. And that this is a perfect example. And I was just actually chatting with a gentleman last night about that, and he's kind of, you know, I've known him for a long time. He's joking. He said, "Hey, what's that box blind doing on that food plot?" And that's exactly, you know, the reason is because it's okay to change. It's okay to make that step, and to go to the next level and take your farm and take your knowledge and take the experience and put it into, you know, make the most of what you have. And this is one of the tools that that needs to be taken out of that element. So that's the reason it's there. Follow along, continue along with me, and we'll show you what it looks like when we have it done. I've got the new blind that's going up on the bank there. Hopefully this week I'll be giving you some pictures of what it looks like from above, and how that blind there, like I said, ties into the backside of the barn, and why this food plot, even though it's a third of an acre, and yes, I have some browse and some forage and some pasture mix that the deer, you know, browse in out in the pastures, but not the area that we're trying to focus this on, you know, creating the line of movement and stuff. And as I'm talking, we're getting more rain, so we're going to call this short here, cut this short. But that's the reason, guys. Take that advice, and I think it's something, as you follow along, you'll see that how you know, how much passion I have for that, and I'll try to relay that through an educational process of this, not a, you know, if you don't do this, you're doing it wrong outlook. I want you to really understand, and I want you to focus on really get something out of that. Why I'm going down this road, why I teach that, why I preach that so much. It's not just to say, like I said, to take the credibility of everybody watching this and tell everybody you don't know what you're doing. That's not the focus of this at all. And I know because I've lived in this area. I've lived all over the country. I know what the thought process is of the majority of clientele around the property or the country right now wanting to hunt over food plots. I get it. It's a reality. It's happening all over the country, and I'm just here to help you, to show you the reasons why you need to take that out of your toolbox, and what success can come of that. So stick with us. Hope you guys are getting some of the rain we're getting across the country, and just kind of some Sunday morning coffee food plot talk here. So thanks, guys.